I gave my daughter an outdated name. When I was pregnant, my boyfriend Jake and I had the typical fights about baby names. He wanted something trendy like Harper or Paisley. I kept pushing for Margaret. He'd roll his eyes every time I brought it up and say stuff like, "Babe, that's such an old lady name," or "Do you want our kid to get bullied?" But here's the thing Jake didn't know. Margaret wasn't random to me. It was my grandmother's name, and she basically raised me when my mom was too busy getting high to take care of a kid. Margaret taught me how to tie my shoes, helped with homework, made me grilled cheese when I was sick. She was the only stable thing in my whole chaotic childhood. Jake never met her because she passed away 2 years before we started dating. I tried explaining the connection once, but he just brushed it off and said, "Well, can't we honor her with the middle name instead?" I dropped it because fighting while pregnant seemed pointless. So when our daughter was born and the nurse asked for the name, I looked Jake dead in the eyes and said Margaret Rose. He literally went pale. The nurse was writing it down before he could even process what happened. "Are you serious right now?" he whispered. I just shrugged and said, "I told you I liked it." For weeks after, people kept giving me these looks when I'd introduce baby Margaret. My sister flat out asked if I was trying to make my kid's life harder. Even the pediatrician seemed confused when he called out Margaret in the waiting room and a tiny baby showed up. But then something weird happened. When Margaret was about 6 months old, we were at the grocery store and this elderly woman behind us in line heard me talking to her. She got this huge smile and said, "Oh my goodness, Margaret, that was my best friend's name growing up. Such a beautiful, strong name." Then when Margaret started daycare, her teacher, Mrs. Chen, told me it was refreshing to see a classic name. Apparently, she was getting tired of having 3 Aidens and 4 Madisons in every class. The real kicker came when Margaret turned 2. We were at a family barbecue and my great-aunt pulled me aside. She said, "You know, your grandmother would be so proud you named your daughter after her." I was confused because I'd never told anyone the real reason behind the name. Turns out my great-aunt had been there when my grandmother was dying. And apparently, in her last few days, my grandmother kept saying she hoped someone would carry on her name someday. She never pressured me about it or anything, but it was something she quietly wished for. I started crying right there at the barbecue. All this time, I thought I was just honoring a woman who meant everything to me. I had no idea she actually wanted her name to continue. Jake finally understood when I told him that story. He admitted he was being shallow about the name thing and said Margaret was perfect. Now he calls her Maggie most of the time, which somehow makes the old-fashioned name feel more modern.